Now, it is to the dungeon debate.
Yes.
This one's going to be interesting.
Now, this one could go on for probably another hour.
But we're going to keep it short.
We're going to keep it short. We don't want to have these episodes go too long for you guys because you guys have D&D to play. So, we're going to keep it shorter, but this is a big debate. And this debate is Druid versus Monk. Which class is better?
Monkey or monkey and more?
Monkey and more. Oh, the monk is more.
No, Druid is more because you can be a monkey and more stuff.
Okay, so as you can hear, I'll be defending Monk.
And I will be defending Druids.
Okay, well, I want to hear your argument.
So, first things first. Druid is a spellcaster, so they're extremely powerful. But, yeah. And probably one of the biggest things about a druid is they're not like just like pincushions that will die instantly. They are very versatile, and druids can be used in a lot of useful ways with their wild shape ability. If you don't know what that is, basically a druid can turn into many animals, the ones that has seen, and once it levels up more, it can go into ones that fly or swim and stuff. Very powerful stuff. Also, they are one of the most god tier summoning classes, as I played as a druid.
Yeah.
And you know the pain of Dakar when he summons the 24 magical wolves that have boosted health up to 15 hit points each.
I will say there were some moments where Ethan's character, Takar the Beastmaster, was pretty awesome. Where like they would like the party. I remember one time the party was like sleeping and they were attacked in their sleep, and they were attacked by were-spiders. And it wasn't supposed to be like a big fight. It was gonna be like more like a. It was like a foreshadowing of things to come. It was like a little spoiler, a little teaser of like stuff that's coming. And so it's going to be like a little fight it's pretty evenly matched. They didn't have any of their weapons with them, which was why it was evenly matched because they were in a special place. And so imagine the battle map where you have the 4 players and the 2 were-spiders, and they're fighting. And then all of a sudden, Ethan just summons 24 wolves.
And these are normal wolves. These are buffed, magical.
Yeah, so then you have the battle map that had 6 pieces on it, and now you have 30 pieces on it. Bam! There's just a bunch of wolves, like, everywhere. Like, just covering this field.
I just imagine whoever was, like, in that castle just looks at them like, what the hell is happening? It's just, like, as all you see is just a spawn, just, like...
Yeah, they were in the gardens outside, like a royal palace. So it was quite a sight to just be, like, an instant army of spiritual wolves.
Yeah. It's fun, though. It's fun.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, but...
It was very powerful, let's say that. Those were-spiders quickly decided to run away.
Yeah, no, like, having a summoner, like, being very good at summoning is actually really good. Because, like, you're basically adding, like, another protector. Stuff that can do their own things on their turn. Which is very strong.
That's action economy.
Yeah, you get it, which makes druids very good at action.
And then it was funny because there are 24 wolves, and then Ethan turns into an owl, I think.
I didn't read.
And fly, and chases the were-spider. In the process, he goes out of the range of all his summoned beasts, and then they all just pop into existence. Yeah, he just deletes them all on the second turn.
But the fact that it turned into an owl, I was thinking like I could do some Beast Boy stuff. So then I would like dive bomb them, turn into like a bear, and just body slam. Pretty fun stuff.
Well, you realize you can only polymorph like a certain amount of time. So yes, you can, but that's not exactly.
I know, but unless you reach level 20, where you can just do it infinitely.
All right. Anyway, that was a little bit of a story time. Not really relevant to the debate. What is relevant to the debate is that Druid is terrible. No, I'm just kidding. Druid is very strong, and so is Monk, which is kind of why we're putting them up against one another here.
Monk has some of the dumbest stuff I hate.
Monk is a very special class. Also very versatile, but in a very different way. Druid kind of is...
chaotic.
Can become good can become okay at anything. So like they can become sort of tough if they become a tougher animal, but really not that tough.
Well, I mean, if you turn into a freaking mammoth, you're like stomping like
sure,
8, you know.
But I guess with the druid is you're always becoming average at something and sacrificing something else. So if you want to be really fast, you become like this really weak little creature. If you become really strong, you become this otherwise not very useful creature. You can fill the role okay. That's what a druid can do. A monk, though, is versatile in a very different way in that all of their kind of basic abilities, which include like speed, damage, health, ability to defend, all of these are really good. And so while they don't have like these fancy niche spells they can pull out, everything they do kind of is good for every single situation.
So like you're saying they're just really good at like fighting or like
they're good at anything. They're very defensive one, which is very good. Like as you go up the levels, they just become like god tier defenders.
One of my favorite things is I think it's the way of the open hand. I just love it.
Right.
It's like literally a monk can walk up to someone, like pressure touch them without the person knowing, and decades later when the guy's old, has kids, he can just say, snap his fingers, and the dude just croaks and just dies. His head just explodes.
Wow.
There was like this like type of anime. I didn't watch it, but it was basically like this guy. He was like a martial artist. He was like in the apocalypse, and everyone would like try to fight him, like super strong people. But basically, what he does, he's like godlike at like pressure points. So he would just touch someone on the forehead, and the guy's like, "Oh, is that all you guys? Like, you're already dead." And then his head just explodes. Like, just monks are super fun, but they're simple. That's my.
They are simple, and I really the simplicity is beautiful because it allows you to just not knowing how the potential of your character can be a big reason why your character isn't as good as they could be. So, for example, let's say you have a really good druid and a really good monk. The fact that the monk is simple makes the player able to make that character better because they know exactly what everything can do. When you have a druid, it can be a little more hard to be like to know all your spells to the point where you can just use them like right when you need them and stuff like this.
But just the fact that you have spells.
Yeah, but like spells are good in general, but monks are like they've kind of reached that spellcaster level of power without spells. You know what I'm saying?
I kind of disagree.
It's the key. It's like
the key is very strong.
It's very strong and also versatile because you can use it and play wherever you need it. You know what I'm saying?
That is
sure, you don't get to shoot lightning, but instead you deal the same damage. Just
the
doing
druid
different
can
stuff.
Still do other stuff. Like for example, like monks, they're very good at fighting, but they can't fill in like a support role, right? Druids are
monks can
the support role.
What do you mean?
Not like battle masters, but like druids have resurrection, healing. They have all these spells that boister that help. Probably my favorite is what is it called? What is it called? It's not surge. It's
Is this a monk thing or a druid?
It's a druid thing. So basically, it's a haste. That's what it's called.
Oh yeah, haste, really good.
Spell.
I mean, monks are basically hasted all the time.
No, they're not. If you gave a monk haste, they would literally be like, "Whoa!"
Yeah, they're just the flash.
Just like literally the flash. They would pressure point, literally.
But that's the thing. It's like they already kind of are hasted. So if you haste them, it's kind of insane. Well,
if you haste anyone, they're broken. Literally.
But a monk, if you look at a monk and realize how it's more broken, then you realize that they're also better in general.
I'm pretty sure druids are like the stronger class.
So
at the end of the day, because they can just
turn
into.
It depends on the level. Greatly depends on the level.
I guess so.
And I think monks are stronger most of the time. But once you get to archdruid, the archdruid is the strongest of all classes, in my opinion. There is like nothing.
Oh, literally, you could just say, "I'm an earth elemental," and then the wizard's like, "Oh, you're dead." I'm an earth elemental. It's just like
they're like unkillable. You have to kill. There would have to be a team up. It's basically impossible to kill an archdruid by one person's turn. You'd have to. So like an archdruid, just the reason they're OP is because they can polymorph infinite times,
and they can cast spells in their form.
Right, and so every time a druid is polymorphed, they gain a new hit point pool. And so basically they basically regenerate to full health every single time.
Yes.
Every turn if they want.
Yeah, so basically imagine a druid or archdruid turns into a mammoth. So they have 140 health.
Yeah, they do a couple rounds of fighting.
General fighting. He can also cast spells, though.
Casting spells, a little bit of command lightning.
Yeah, so kind of like his little trunk kind of like points into the air, and then a lightning bolt rains from the sky. Pretty cool stuff. One thing I will give monks, though, is
monks become OP at level 5.
They do. Very early on, monks are scary to everything that fights them. I will admit to that. But it's like the Archdruid versus...
Yeah, but Archdruid is level 20. That's a level 20 character.
That is true,
It's like,
yes.
okay, sure, you're better at level 20. Who cares? Everyone's OP at level 20.
But they are the most OP thing on the planet.
Yes,
though.
I will grant that. I don't think that makes them better as overall class. Monks, let me just tell you my favorite thing that they can do. Stunning Strike.
Oh, God.
All they got to do is expend a key point.
It's so... Stun is one of the most stupidest things. It's basically like the monk slaps the guy so hard it's a flashbang.
Yeah.
Literally, it's a literal flashbang.
It's awesome.
I just imagine, like, do you know, like, the Call of Duty when you get hit by a flashbang? A monk just comes and goes... And you're just like, what?
That's exactly what it is. And they can expend a key point to do it, like, infinite times, as long as they have key points. And it takes away an entire turn. Anything they stun is stunned until their turn is back, and that negates like everything.
Do you know what? This is kind of like a little off topic, but there's this thing called a Steel Predator that has a breath attack that stuns you for an entire minute. So basically, you're just nothing for a minute. And I'm just rough. Like, I used that. I was like, wait, I didn't realize how horribly overpowered this thing is.
Yeah, it will just kill you. You'll wake up. Well, you won't wake up.
Yeah, you won't wake up.
So anyway, I think the monk, I think, is more OP most of the time. And once you get up to level 20, that's when you start getting druids that are OP. But I think so that's my first argument, that monks are OP more of the time. The second one comes down to versatility. Druids are kind of like your ultimate versatile class, but I think they like always fall flat, or at least most of the time.
Well, for what?
Like what they actually end up doing. It's like I become a bear to be the tank, but then like bears don't actually have that much health, so you kind of get roasted, and then you're on the front lines as a druid, and then you just get killed.
Well,
you know what I mean, stuff like that, and then or you become. Or you fly up in the air, and it's like, okay, you can see stuff, but that's not very helpful. It's like it would be much better if you were down here as a monk dealing some serious damage. You know what I mean?
Well,
like if you have a party, a monk in the party is always really good. And then if you were to have a druid in the party, it's like, okay, that might be good.
Well,
like
there are some stuff that the monks that's like pretty dumb. It's like you only are given like a couple of things. For example, you can't use armor.
You don't need to.
Yeah, but that means you can only have 18 AC, which is good.
But they're ridiculous. One, they become like immune to like a million different things as they level up.
Immune to what?
Sorry, not immune. Well, actually, no. I think they do become immune.
To what?
Like poison. They have this thing called God, what's it called? Like pure form or pure body.
Basically,
nothing
it
can
just
make them impure.
Just basically, it's like his cells are like looks at the poison. No.
Yeah, and then they have like centered mind or something where they can't be charmed in any way, like they're completely immune.
That is strong. And
then they can dodge, right? They can do bonus actions.
Yeah, but you kind of underestimate the druid when you say like, oh, they'll just be the tank and the bear. The fact that they can do that is special. Remember, druids are a spell casting class. Compared to the other spellcasters, they are supreme. They got the Wisp spell. They got Resurrection. They got all of the serious spells that a wizard would have, but they can also hold their own. So they're very survivable. If they have to flee, they are a crow and they're out of there. You know what I'm saying? Plus, I just think it's super fun. You know, if you want to go stealthy, you can. If you want to go strength, you can.
I guess what?
If you want to go magic, you can.
I guess what we're dealing with here is a druid that is a jack of all trades, but master of none. So yes, they're a spellcaster. Yes,
Well,
they can become all these
are a
different
master
things.
of spells, though.
They're not, though.
They are very good at...
Who's better at spells? Wizards or druids?
Well...
Wizards, because they're the masters
but
of spells.
a druid is a very close second, though.
But they're limited in their spell capacity. What?
Limited?
I mean, once we get to the OP levels, everyone's OP. So yes, sure.
Well, right,
Everyone's
but
a master.
they're not limited. They actually are...
Well, most of the time, you can't even use spells in your form. So you got to pick. Are you either going to be in a form or are you going to be...
Well, most
spells?
of the time, the forms are really only used as defensive tools when your teammates aren't doing well, if that makes sense. So, like,
Sure.
so let's say in a, so generally a druid will be the spellcaster. So they'll be in the back casting the spells. And they got some insane spells and some awesome cantrips, too. Like, Druidcraft literally just makes me just so good. But, like, they have all sorts of support spells. They have, like, haste. Blur is a really good one. Basically, you put it on yourself, and everything has disadvantage.
No, they have good spells. I'm not saying they're not. They don't.
They are
have good
especially insanely good at spells. But just the fact
compared
that
to what?
to other spellcasters,
Okay. Well,
they are equally in par with like sorcerers and warlocks.
Sure,
right?
but you're not comparing yourself to either of those. You're comparing yourself to a monk. So although you do have spells.
Which spells are very powerful.
They are
and
very
will
powerful.
Get you out of a lot of situations that Chi will not. Like, you are very strong. Ki, same thing. Master Oogway would probably kill me, though. But like, being a monk, you are very good at fighting, but monks aren't invulnerable. They will get...
Wait, you think druids are invulnerable? Monks are as close to invulnerable as you can get. I mean, hitting a monk is so difficult. And they can have a high AC, but it's the fact that you just literally cannot hit them. And if you do hit them, sometimes they're resistant.
That's not necessarily true. I mean, it kind of depends what level are we talking about. Because the higher the druid gets, the more things it can turn into and the more spells it gets.
Yes.
And the spells of the druid is not like fireball. It's more like supporting, it makes things more difficult for the enemy.
If you don't have so when you have a really high level druid, it's a very good fight between druid and monk. But when you have, when you're not really high level, and I'd say like 15 and below, the monk is gonna win. The monk is gonna run it. The monk is tough and capable of resisting a lot of the things you're throwing at them. So let's say you want to command lightning, you want to throw some damage dealer thing. If they fail they can dodge it basically. They can make the save and not take any damage.
Well, but most druids would never do those types of spells. Like, they always do support spells, as I say again.
What would a druid even do to a monk in a 1v1?
I mean, there's like Cloud Kill. There's
That's an area effect, isn't it?
It's a very stupid big area effect.
But
like, you can't dodge it. You would just have to run out of it. But I mean, it really depends. If they're in the forest or the environment, the monk's screwed. Basically, the druid can also call upon the environment as well.
Yes.
Which is very powerful. You know, you can have trees that grab people and suffocate them.
Yes, but if the monk gets to the druid, stun, punch, stun, punch, you're just dead, right? The monk can deal a ton of damage really quick, and the druid can't really take that damage.
The druid can. He can just wild shape, go somewhere else. The druid can go underneath the ground and go somewhere else in the trees. You know, like, literally, it's insane.
If you even have a turn to do something.
Yes, he will have a turn.
It takes one key point to stun.
No, but the stun isn't guaranteed. You have to make the
That's
check.
true, but,
Right.
I mean...
And druids are generally pretty good at con saves.
No, they're not.
There's spells that give druids insane con. Like, there's one that gives you more...
Yeah, but you see, you're listing off all these spells. Druids don't have all these spells. They have a portion of these options. And so, yes, you can... There's all these awesome things. But we have to talk about
all of those spells, though. We can't exclude them.
You will only get a couple. You don't get all of them. So yes, but when I'm talking about a monk gets all the things I'm saying. Always.
Well, it depends on what
class. And can do them at any time.
Well, it kind of depends what subclass you choose, though.
I haven't said anything that's any subclass.
Right.
I've only been talking their base stuff. So I'm not even speaking about the extra stuff you get as whatever monk you pick. There's crazy stuff monks can do when you go to like different types. Like they can control the elements, right? They can go into their astral form where they're untouchable by, you know what I mean? Like there's all these things that they can do. There's all these. So we're talking. There's crazy stuff on both sides, but I think a monk is better because they have the fundamentals perfected. And
no,
yes, they do.
No,
they don't have the spells, but a lot of their attributes, like their ability to just like become a fully mental being, or like that command elements. Like I said, these are very spell like.
What about the command element stuff? They're basically spells. So
that's what I'm saying. Monks have their own thing that is basically spells.
They don't really get... Well, that's kind of like the Eldritch Knight.
It's way better than the Eldritch Knight.
It's not.
Eldritch Knight just gets spells, right? Normal spells.
Yeah, but those
Monk has unique stuff.
Those elemental spells are nothing compared to normal spells. Those elemental spells are doo-doo water compared to normal spells. The Druid can do the exact same stuff.
Just think about what you do in a campaign as a player. Who would you rather have at your side? A Druid or a monk? A monk is just savage. Monk comes in.
That is not savage. I would rather have the Druid. Your monk pulls up. Your monk shows up to the Druid, but the Druid just snaps his fingers, and then Mother Nature itself.
No, you're talking high level here. In that case, the monk was already a soul-based creature, and then killed you from the afterlife.
I was only 7. I was only 7th level, and I was able to do so much shenanigans and bullcrap that I should not be able to do.
Well, you're kind of playing a more OP subclass, but
Shepherd is not the most OP subclass.
But no, Druid is very strong. Telling me Druid is strong is not the point. Well, monks are also strong.
I am not playing the class. I'm not playing pales into compare.
I get it. It's not as good as
not as good as some of the other ones. Like I forget. I think it's the Moon Druid.
It doesn't.
Whatever. But if you can turn into a bear that has, I believe it was like 110 health, which they generally have 30. And they do like double the damage. Like
a bear?
Yeah.
No, but that's the thing. Like a bear is good, but you don't last that long as a bear.
But it's
and then you're a bear. Now you're no longer a bear. You're just a weak little wizard dude, toe to toe with something that just killed a bear. So it's like if you're gonna actually be a tank,
but remember,
be a tank.
It's
Don't
not.
Be a tank
it's not a normal bear. It's a very It's a very powerful bear. It's not a normal bear. Druids don't turn into just normal animals.
They become. They maintain things about themselves. Yes, but the hit points are what matter in that sense, because once you lose those bear hit points, you're just a little guy.
You're not a little guy. You still get a D8 of health.
Imagine a situation. What I'm saying is when a druid does something for a party, it doesn't do it very well. It passes.
What do you mean?
So this is the perfect... Let me tell you. Would you like me to answer that question?
So you're telling me the monk is a better support class than the druid?
The monk cannot heal per se.
No, but you're telling me the monk can do more supportive things for the entire party than the druid.
Yeah, because the monk has the fundamentals down. Yes.
No, monks are not supportive classes. They are frontline.
You have this opinion that if something can cast spells, it's better than everything else.
I do not say
Spells
that.
are balanced with the other parts of D&D. Spells are not OP because you only get a couple of them. You can only use them a couple times, and that's it. So you although there's all these OP spells, you got to pick a couple, and then you also can only use them a couple times. But the monk, that's not the case. They are good at all times. They don't run out of goodness. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. So that's very good when your party starts to run out of stuff. The monk can support the party by still being awesome.
Well, okay, so to clarify, the monk is really good at one thing, which is combat.
No.
Right?
Well, what does that mean?
What are the druid?
You don't think a monk can't like boop 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 hop up the mountain or what? Like,
no, I mean, why would
or
you
meditate and then use their spiritual form to walk into the enemy base and look around and be like, oh yeah, this place is dangerous. Come back out, wake up, and be yeah, we don't want to go in there.
I don't think that's how that.
No, they can. Yeah, astral self.
I mean, how long does it go for?
I'm pretty. I don't know, but obviously more than 6 seconds or something.
Well, no, I'm saying like, what's the distance?
It's infinite. It's just you have to go back to your body to get back in. I'm pretty sure.
That is actually really messed up.
Your body is vulnerable when you do that, so you don't want to just leave.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
So
but
you're
what
screwed.
the example I just said would be if it's not a combat move. It's a move before to go reconnaissance.
Right.
That's amazing. But that's just one. Monks have lots of stuff.
Is that
like
a subclass though?
No, it's not.
So that's just a normal thing.
That is a normal thing.
Okay.
Subclasses add even more of these stuff.
Monks
have a spiritual side to them that are kind of like these very.
The
cool
sad thing
aspects.
is, I will say this, and I'm very disappointed in this, but for some reason, monks have been known for this, and that's what they were talking about, like in Fizz bands. Monks and rangers were heavily lacking. It's like once you get to a certain point, they are strong, but then nothing happens. They don't like.
They don't get their level 20 archdruid.
No.
thing.
Well, no. Druids get a lot more as they level up. Like, for example, they can cast spells in wild shape form. But, like, I forget what they said. It was like monks don't get, like. They get all their goodies in the beginning. Right?
That's kind of true.
So
which kind of makes them better, in my opinion.
No.
I like that more. I mean.
They would just get boring. They would get very boring. Which a lot of people in the Dungeons and Dragons community agree with.
Sure.
Monks, after a while, get very, very boring, you know?
Well...
But as a druid, druids are one of the most famous D&D classes, so they are used all the time. And
because people like animals. I want to be an animal.
You don't?
I'm a little girl. I like cats. I want to be a
druid. You're literally offending, like, so many people in here. You really...
That's because all the furries are playing as druids.
God, I cannot believe you said that. Well, no, just imagine,
Nothing wrong with that.
Just
It's
imagine,
just
like,
observation.
your party's, like, fighting, like a monster or something, and then in the back you just hear a roar and, like, just a saber tooth, just, like, sick battles like that. You know, just, like, it just adds in so much flavor into combat, and, like, if you think the monk outsupports the team, then the druid, you are literally on something. Druids can just say, hey, guys, we need to pass the forest. Yeah, let's just go in the tunnels.
That I created.
Druids
that was a homebrew of mine. I made a thing called the root system, where it's like there are certain trees you can enter the root system, and it's this underground pathway of roots.
That's actually a certain spell and a certain not realm. It's not the Feywild.
Yes, they can. Like, they're connected to nature, but not all nature, right?
Well,
you're about to enter the desert in my campaign. Let's see you use some of your root system. No.
Well, I mean, no, but I was going to basically negate the desert. And I'm not going to tell you what.
No, you have the create water stuff.
No. They're
going to do something different. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, spells are very situational, which is why they're OP for certain situations. So if you're in the desert and you create water, you are OP. But that is useless in other situations. But monks are good all around.
But
they're good.
But I do want to delve into the things. It's like, I think druids are in their prime in nature. There's this one spell. Oh my god, it's literally so broken.
But Ethan, just because there's a broken spell does not mean the class is good. You used it. Now you got to get a long rest to get it back. You know,
well, you can have it multiple times. Like you can use certain spells 5 times, and certain amount of combat does not last that long.
So you're just gonna
you extinguish all of your spells.
You were talking about boring before. You just. What, you just cast as one spell every time you're in combat?
No, but, like, you're saying, like, oh,
command lightning.
But, like, what you're saying is, like, oh, you use it once and you're done. No, you can use it multiple times if you want to.
But every time
that argument that when you use it and it's extinguished and you're just nothing is false. Druids will stay in the fight the entire time. They're actually one of the last ones to get down.
Yes, but if you pick a bunch of spells that you're going to use in combat, you no longer have spells to use as support. And it's like, it's a give and take with this kind of stuff. So let's say you want to be a well-rounded druid. You have some support, you have some buffs, you have some damage dealers, all these spells. Then you're going to be limited in all those situations.
Well, no, because I disagree with that. Because druids don't have a lot of damaging spells. Like, they don't have fireball, right?
Okay.
So the wizard has all the spells except for druid spells. Druids get their own little special thing that wizards can't even touch, which is pretty awesome.
Well, most things have that.
No.
I guess, yeah, that's true. Most things don't have that. Yeah, druids do have their own.
And druids kind of their own little oomph to them. It's like,
But
oh,
there are
special.
some spells that are only for certain classes. So Druids have a lot more.
Yeah. No, druids have a lot more, but like druids, like they're not meant to be attacker spellcasters. They're like the ones that make all your allies and themselves a lot better in everything that they do.
Yes,
so, like,
I know what you're saying.
Like there's this
That's
one
like
that's
bards, clerics, obviously the healers.
a little different from like bards.
No, I know what druids do. Yes, that's
But,
good.
like-
I would much rather have a monk fighting beside me than a druid behind me saying, roll another d4 with your attacks.
That's not what
I'd
they
rather have
do.
the monk next to me.
Imagine they just touch you. It's like you feel the bestial power of the great cave bear, and you feel your inner spirit intertwining with the cave bears. You
Roll
gain the
1d4 for
monk.
extra HP.
You get no.
That's what it ends up being.
No. It's more like roll 4d8s.
Yeah,
of
right.
Extra,
Oh, yeah, okay. Maybe.
as you level
Maybe.
up. But like you
we need to close this off.
Okay, so let's just end it here. Druids are stupid insane. They're not just little dumb spellcasters that'll just die if you breathe on them. They can fight back, and they fight well. They're very good in combat. And they are the most versatile, really, out of all the classes. They are good. They can be stealthy.
Okay,
they
we
can
get it, we
swim. They can get out of literally anything that they can do. They're master spellcasters. They are sweet. They are, just nature's wrath. Nature beats all.
Sure.
I'll leave it there.
Okay,
Don't mess with Mother
and monks
Nature.
are a very unique class. They use Ki, the only class that has access to this very unique magic system.
Druid's the only class that uses druid spells.
Yes, but the druid spells are just more spells. They just have them. Ki is its own unique thing. Are you going to keep interrupting my last statement? Anyway, monks are unique classes that have the fundamentals of what makes a D&D character good down. They have it down. And they will be helpful in every single situation in a lot of different ways. You can flavor your monk with a lot of cool classes. Some of them go into the astral plane, which is just amazing. Others are just your classic Kung Fu Panda. Like, you underestimate him, and then you fight him, and you realize he ain't something to be
They
underestimated.
better make a subclass, god dang it, that is Kung Fu Panda. I want a panda race,
a
and I want
Pandaren World of Warcraft.
and
All
I
right,
want
we're
a
closing
obese
it.
monk. All right.
Oh, peace. Okay. We will let you decide on who won this debate. Do you
Definitely
prefer
Druids.
monk or druid?
Do
And
you-
with that, I will cast Stunning Strike and end this.
And with that, I will cast
Okay.
Wish
No,
Spell
you're stunned.
and just end it. No, Wish Spell. You're just gone. Eviscerated. Reduced to atoms.
Eviscerated doesn't mean gone. Anyway, it means your stomach innards were ripped out.
Is that actually what
Goodbye.
it means?
We're ending. Goodbye.
Well, you're reduced to atoms. You are nothing.